Video on the last mechanic. So this is the strategy that was shown at the end of raid on how to do things. I'm not going to talk too much about it because we talked about it last night. I do want to point out that there is right here an adjustment that we can do so that we have the people typically running to the markers. So right here, instead of me going onto a left platform and they go onto the right platform, we just go to a marker or a platform that has the markers, and we stand at the marker and we stand with the marker. This kind of works consistently. The way you look at where you need to go is you just go from the bison, run through the minotaur up to the next platform. It is worth knowing that if that ends up not being the case and there's two minotaurs on both sides of the bison, then we get a free win on the mechanic, and we just do this, where everyone can do what they normally do over here, and the minotaurs just go to their side. So honestly, this strategy is nice in that if we have to adjust to these minotaurs, it just becomes a free win. Going onwards to the other strategy, this is if things need to be angled. And so this is kind of inspired by a couple things, notably right here. If we show where this mechanic happens, we can see this is the amount of space that's needed for this tether from this guy to happen. And so Nomura could run down over here, and then we can have people spread out on just the bison side. Ideally, that's what this strategy is showing. Everyone else's thing is pretty understandable. Just know that the bison, you go out and to the right, out and to the right. So when we do this strategy, the person that's down here needs to be in a different location, but honestly, if this is how it needs to be, it's not that bad to execute. If this ends up slaying, like, let's say Seraphia and me in this orientation, we can just do something like this. It is not much of an issue. Obviously, if number 3 is possible, this is less thinking because we're all on one side. But this is also an option. Our last option is this. This is under the guise or understanding that being at the corner is realistic. We can see right here I'm falling to my death, but if this was to become purple tethered right here instead, then this strategy becomes viable. This strategy makes it super easy to do, which is why I'm kind of skeptical this is the case. While this is the easiest to execute, this does take 10 minutes to test if this is going to work by being here and here. Worst case scenario, someone dies, I guess, or 2 people die to test it, and we move on, but this still seems kind of sketchy to me. I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. These are just kind of the strategies that I came up to be realistic for us to do this mechanic. If there's any questions, please make sure to ask them or comment on these strategies for optimizations or whatever before raid time so that we can get it ready for raid. Tonight's a big raid. We might be able to kill the boss. We definitely are hitting in rage, and so any thoughts kind of need to be laid out now.